places over there, George. It's like attracts like, and you go to an area where there are people on the same exact spiritual level that you're at. So there are born-again Christians in the same area, there are Muslims in the same area, there are Jewish people in the same area. Doesn't mean they're better than anybody else. It's just the area that they attracted to, that level of soul evolution of awareness, if you will.
Well, I wish they'd all understand we all believe in the same God. Huh?
We're all God. Yeah. Every one of us is God. We're all the same God.
I haven't heard you talk about evil tonight. How come?
Evil. Well, because I'm in New York. So.
I love
evil. Well, I always see it as evil. I think people make more of it than there should be, but because I think evil and love are just the opposites. I think evil is really illumination of love, and that's really what I think it is. It's not having that vibration. It's not living in that vibration of
negative
love.
Energy.
I think we can give it energy with our thoughts. I think it has that energy. Sure, negativity, greed, hatred. That's fear-based. All evil is fear-based. So anything that's fear-based is evil.
Let's go to Justin, Plano, Texas, east of the Rockies. There you go. Hi, Justin.
Hey, George. Hey, James.
Hi, Justin.
Hey, a couple of quick questions, and I can listen on.
And we'll give you a double quick answer.
Sure thing.
Okay, great. I'm kind of curious to know if you, maybe this is a little bit esoteric, but do you follow the worldview that maybe people with increasing in consciousness or who study the Vedas do, that we reincarnate X amount of times, hundreds or thousands of times, or tens of thousands, and eventually reach a Godhead state?
Yeah, it's a great question, a great question. I do believe in reincarnation. I really, really do. And I do believe that we can be reincarnated right now in several places at once. I don't put a physical limitation on numbers, and that's with that religious thing, and I'm very much into that religion, but any religion that limitates God or limitations I have a hard time with, and I could be totally wrong, but I feel that we can, we don't have to come back. We can choose to be on the other side. But it seems that many of us choose to come back in order to help each other, to learn, to enlighten, to enrich. So I do believe that we choose to come back, and there are many, many places to go to, many galaxies, many star systems to go to. The Earth is one of the lowest in the evolutionary rung, but there are many, many places to go to.
And the second is, I can make it general or personal. I don't know if you're doing personal.
Whatever you feel comfortable with.
I'll make it an A and B, a quick A and B.
Okay.
For those who are just the worst of the worst on Earth and who, in our eyes, deserve something maybe not so pleasing afterward.
Right. Like Osama bin Laden.
Yeah. Does that?
I just wrote an article about Osama bin Laden.
Does that cleanse them, or do they, in future lifetimes, is it a long process?
Well, it seems like a soul pattern, if you will. So it could be soul patterns which they choose to perfect and get better with, or they can repeat those patterns, and that's what it's about. And unfortunate, when someone passes into the spirit world, they relive their entire life they've just lived, the physical, and they feel how other people felt, how they were responsible for the deaths of all of these people. And that's a pretty hard thing, of course, to feel. And they will go through that for a while. Thank God there's compassion over there somewhat, a level of compassion to help them. But for a while they're kind of in I don't know if you want to call it a dark area or a lost area or a purgatory area, but they have to live with what they've created in their mind. And that's very, very difficult for them.
Are they going through a life review?
It's kind of a life review, exactly. It's kind of a life review, exactly right. But it seems that when someone does some devastating things, they kind of get stuck on those things. They can't move on to the next situation in their lives because they've killed those thousands of people, or millions of people, whatever. And it seems they're stuck there for a while before they're able to move on to another aspect of their life.
Have you ever had a upset spirit or child?
Oh, yes, often.
Oh.
Yes, I've had once, just recently, I had a young man who had an overdose in a basement, and he showed me the whole scene right in front of me, and he was in his aunt's basement, and he was on the floor, and he was ODing on Oxycontin.
Ugh.
I remember he spelled it out for me because I didn't know what it was, Oxycontin. And he was blonde-haired, and he was really angry. He was pissed off, very, very upset, because he didn't think he was going to die that way. And he was angry that he couldn't get back to the physical body, and he couldn't tell his parents what he really thought about them. So he was able to get through to his aunts and uncle who were in the audience. and they recognized him, and including the tattoo of his and all these details of things they had, items they had of his. And he was really angry and really pissed off, but he was able to get through information to them. And it was so interesting, but the audience helped him to lighten up and to help him to move on, to accept that he had died, that accept that, he'd do other things, that he'll be able to come back another time, he'll be able to be a guide or an angel or inspire his family from the other side of life. So with that, he was able to be a much happier spirit, and if you will, move into the light, if you will.
You've got some speaking engagements coming up, too, don't you? Book signings?
I do. I'm going to be in Westbury Music Fair or Westbury Theater in Long Island. I'm going to be in Boston, in L.A. at the Bodhi Tree. I'm going to be all over. From my website, people can find out all my listings, the schedule. And I do a lot of work out there, so vanprog.com if they want to find the calendar section.
All right, well, stay with us. We're going to continue taking phone calls for the remaining portion of this hour and our final hour next hour with James Van Praagh as we talk about his latest work, Growing Up in Heaven. And if any of you have gone through this traumatic event of losing a child and you want to call us, please feel free to do so. If you need to email me, that's George at coast-to-coast-am.com, and just make it a regular part of your day to go up to our website every once in a while. I shall be right back. Don't touch your dial. Here we go. And welcome back to Coast to Coast. George Norrie with you. We'll take your phone calls. James Van Praagh, our special guest tonight, and he's up there in New York for another major event as he scans the countryside. How often do you travel, James?
I'm sorry?
How often do you travel?
All the time, once a week. I do lectures and venues all over the country. I go to places that people don't go to. So, like, I went to Wisconsin, and people were, like, blown away I was there and very appreciative. And I find I like doing that, to meet people that never get a chance to see mediums in person. So this year I'm going to the UK in a couple of weeks, United Kingdom and Scotland.
Scotland, which they've shut down most of the airports out there because of the volcano, so you be careful.
Oh, okay. See, I don't even know these things. I don't know how I get there. Spirit guides me to where I get to go. And,
well, hopefully by a couple of weeks things will calm down.
Hopefully, if not, everybody in the UK can come over to the U.S. and visit us.
You got that right. Let's go to Donna in San Francisco. Hey, Donna, welcome to the program. Go ahead.
Hi there, George. Thank you so very much for taking my call.
Sure thing.
Hello, James.
Hi, Donna.
Hi. Thank you for being there.
Oh, you're welcome.
I want to let you know my husband died 8 months ago, and before he passed away, he introduced me to you. He actually wrote your name down on a piece of paper and had your name on the counter on a piece of paper. Anyhow, I'm going to try to make this as precise as possible.
Come to the Westbury show.
The Westbury show?
Are you from New York?
No, San Francisco, right outside.
Oh, okay, well, you can come to a California show.
Oh, okay. I would love to. What I want to know about is this. It popped in my mind today to call you. He told me basically to call you. I want to know about his wedding band. I have 3 questions. I'll make it quick. On my finger, I had his wedding band because right after he passed away, I slipped it off of his finger. Anyhow, I woke up and his wedding band was missing from my finger, and I want to know, did he take the wedding band off my finger? Next thing I want to know is 3 days ago, my daughter was on the freeway, and a deer popped up on the freeway 5 feet in front of her, and she swerved the car, and the car was rocking, and then she was able to get the car back in control, but this was a large deer, and I want to know.
Oh, well, he helped her get back on the right way, the right lane.
Yeah, he wasn't the deer.
No,
he wasn't the deer.
Yeah,
but he was
the
angel or guide that helped manipulate that to happen.
Yeah.
Happens all the time. Mm-hmm. Could he take the wedding ring? Yes, very possible he could dematerialize that wedding ring, and you'll find it somewhere else. That would not be surprising to me.
Okay, I want to know, how does he feel about me beginning to date?
I think he loves it.
Yeah?
I think he loves it. You know, it's very interesting, Donna, but many spirits come through, husbands who have lost wives, wives lost husbands, and the partner will often come through and say, you're going to marry somebody. And the person in the audience says, oh, no, never could I. Well, it's happened so many times because from their perspective, they want us to experience love in this planet and love ourselves. And we love ourselves basically because someone else loves us. It teaches us about love. So they want the best for us. So I know that he would like you to get married and meet somebody and hang out with. You're a character. You're a card. You're somebody that should be shared with somebody else and teach them.
Super.
So I'm sure that's what he wants for you.
Go for it, Donna. Have fun. Do you ever run across, though, a spirit that is greedy and,
Sure.
Doesn't want the spouse to get married, doesn't want the spouse to date?
Sure. I've had that happen. Just because you pass into the spiritual realms does not mean that you're evolutionary and you're spiritually evolutionary. You're evolved. You're evolved spiritually, and you're aware spiritually of certain things because your mindset is still very much the same when you passed over. That's why when children pass over, it's pretty pure because they haven't gone through judgment. But there have been times where there are spirits who want to hold on very, very deeply to their loved one, and they don't want them to meet anybody else. That does happen. Rare, but it does happen. When we did the show Ghost Whisperer, we ran into a lot of those types of storylines. And there was one storyline we ran around, which I don't know if we ever did or not. Melissa had an old boyfriend, and he didn't want to move on, and he haunted her. But that does happen. But it seems that there's so much more available to them once there's a physical dimension that they're aware of that they don't want to hang out here.
Interesting. How's our friend Marianne Winkowski these days?
She's good. She's very, very good.
Super
lady. Another book.
Super lady. We like her a lot.
Yeah.
What's the best advice you can give to a parent who has lost a child?
Number one, they have not lost them. They're in a different place. And that many, many times, as I said before, the children's spirit, that soul, remember it's just a soul. It's not a physical, it's a child, but it's a soul first and foremost. We're all souls. And they come back in soul packs, if you will. And that you've never lost them. They're with you. And they might have had to leave this time around early so that they can fulfill your destiny and their destiny from the spiritual levels. And that does happen quite a bit. There was a gentleman who I worked with once, and his son passed over and came through and said, "Dad, I'm going to help with your hands." And I said, "What does that mean?" The father didn't know what it meant. Well, a year later, the father called me up and he said, "Whenever I go by certain people, my hands go up and heat comes from them." And now he is a healer in Los Angeles, and he has a clinic.
How about that?
And that could not have happened until his son Chris had passed over to spirit. So that circuitry could happen. So that happens quite a bit when children pass over.
Betsy in Sacramento, California. There you go, Betsy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be on the show and a pleasure to speak with you both.
Thank you.
I've had a lot of deaths in my family,